Today I'll be proposing various design methods to reduce feelings of loneliness and social isolation among homeless individuals. For the proposal, I'll be using the City of Los Angeles as a lens through which to most appropriately design for the demographic. Currently, the City of Los Angeles is facing a homeless crisis. In the last year alone, the city has experienced a 16% increase in its homeless population. There are currently about 36,000 people living homeless in the city limits. This makes Los Angeles the third most homeless city in the world. Such high numbers can be attributed to the city's extremely high cost of living, its shortage of affordable housing options, and the region's desirable climate for living outdoors. To put things into perspective, a resident here needs to make about $47 an hour to afford the median rent price in the city. The graph below shows the rise in the homeless population over recent years. The current state of homeless support in LA is made mostly of short-stay temporary shelters. These programs often provide very minimal amenities for residents, usually just providing beds, storage, restrooms. And the length of stay at these places ranges anywhere from 1 week to sometimes several months, depending on the particular shelter's guidelines. These programs usually provide little to no outside support. For example, services such as job searching or healthcare are only occasionally offered, and they might be exclusive to only certain people that qualify. Currently, there are about 170 overnight shelters with over 7,000 beds in LA County. The majority of currently homeless population sleep either out in the open or in temporary shelters, as shown in the graph here. Homeless shelters and supportive housing can sometimes actually increase isolation and antisocial behavior among its residents. A 2005 study by a group called Social Indicators Research questioned 861 people, both homeless and not, about their current feelings of isolation and loneliness. It resulted in the homeless respondents having a higher mean score on the categories of interpersonal isolation and self-alienation. This supports the claim that homeless people sometimes have smaller and more fragmented social networks. Reasons behind this can sometimes be loss of family members or friends throughout one's lifetime. A series of interactive maps generated by the Los Angeles County Homelessness and Housing Committee in collaboration with CityLab has allowed me to pinpoint areas with a higher concentration of homeless individuals, as well as people living in makeshift shelters or vehicles. Venice Beach and the downtown area were among the zones with a higher concentration of homeless people. To prevent people in shelters from returning to living on the streets, as well as reducing their feelings of isolation, I'm proposing to install interior courtyards or lounge areas within the shelters. These spaces would allow for conversation and social interaction between residents. Typically, the average homeless person staying in a shelter is provided with a simple bed and storage locker, but they're not usually provided areas to relax and converse with others in a shared common space. These designated areas would provide opportunity for conversation and social networking among residents, as well as other activities when needed. My design to outcome model suggests that providing residents with comfortable furniture in a well-lit, ventilated space, they're more likely to converse and mingle with one another. Such layouts encourage social interaction among residents and generates an atmosphere that's more welcoming of social interaction and networking. This may also increase feelings of self-purpose and belonging among residents. Here are the references used throughout my research. In summary, the installation of interior courtyards, lounge areas, or common spaces may help alleviate feelings of social isolation among residents of homeless shelters. These spaces offer opportunities for conversation, social networking, and recreational activity.